I'd like to call the Wednesday, April 19th County Board meeting to order. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and then after that, everybody can be seated, and we'll have an address and an invocation from Pastor Monty Fox of Belvedere United Methodist. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. My name is Pastor Monty Fox, and I'm the senior pastor at the First United Methodist Church here in Belvedere. It's over on Bonus Avenue, just about 2 miles east of the fairgrounds. And they've asked me to come in and just tell you a little bit about who we are and give the invocation tonight. And I promise I'm not going to do Sunday morning, that I will be brief tonight. So you give a pastor a microphone, we like to go. I've been in Belvedere, assigned to the church, for about 2 years. It'll be 2 years this July, as a matter of fact. Before that, I spent 5 years at the Cherry Valley United Methodist Church. So I'm familiar with the area and familiar with the happenings both in Boone and Whiteside County. And I can honestly say that if you know anything about Methodist pastors, we move a lot. So far, I've been able to enjoy this area for about 7 years now, and I'm hoping that this is home. So I really like it here, and I'm glad to be a part of this community. Some of the things that we're doing in church when I came to Belvedere is it's always my motto as a pastor to ask the question of whatever church that I'm serving. The first question I ask is, if we were to close our doors tomorrow, would the community miss us? And it always causes people to take a big, long pause, and then they start naming off some of the things that they do as a church that you may be missed on a short period of time, such as any dinners they may do or fundraising activities. But the question really digs deeper is, what can we do for the community? Why are we here? What is the purpose of a church? And the church is not only to go out and spread the good news and the gospel, of course, but it's also to live out the gospel. And the gospel is to care for one another, to love one another. And so that's one of the things that we're doing in Belvedere. That's a major thing we're doing at Belvedere First, is to really reach out both to the community and to the world. Some of the ways that we're doing that, every year we host a camp for foster kids who came out of abusive homes, abusive situations. And some of these kids they've really not had the greatest of upbringings. And so we sponsor a camp for about anywhere from 30 to 50 kids every summer. And we send them to a week-long camp and allow them to just really be a kid and really enjoy themselves. And then when they come back at the end of the week, we have a birthday party, because for some of them, it's the first birthday party they've ever had. And so if we have 50 kids, we sing happy birthday 50 times. And we sing it to each kid individually, and each kid gets a gift. And it's really a great way to remind them that no matter what's happening, someone cares about them, someone is concerned with them and wants to make sure that they're looked after. We also, just recently, you're all familiar with the fire that we had here in Belvedere not too long ago. The United Methodist Church has really partnered up with the city of Belvedere, and we organized, if any of you maybe had furniture items or something that needed to be picked up, we did that and came in and delivered it to the holding station, and then we also adopted a family and have been providing for their needs. And I've been counseling many of the fire victims who are asking the same question that a lot of people ask: why? And so I've been working with them quite closely. Coming up in the future, something that may interest some of you, or you may know somebody who needs it. In September, I don't know how many of you know who Dave Ramsey is. Dave Ramsey is a Christian financial counselor, and he helps people manage their money and helps people go from living paycheck to paycheck to actually being in control of their money. And it doesn't matter how much income you have. He says you can have $10,000 a year all the way up, but it's all how you manage the money that makes it work. I am a certified Dave Ramsey counselor, and I'm going to be running a 9-week class open to the public starting in September, and we're going to help people manage their money, and it includes things like getting out of debt, getting rid of credit cards, asking questions about I have kids, how do I save for college? What are the ins and outs of that? What are all these different insurance types? How do I save for retirement? What's an emergency fund and why do I need one? And the big one that most people have problems with is how do I put together a budget and how do I live by it? So those are some of the ways that we're actually making a difference in the community and will continue to do so. It's my belief that that's why we exist. And so if you ever have any questions, want to learn more about what we're doing, or even want to be involved, you don't have to be a member of our church to be involved in what we're doing. The mission is open to anybody and everybody. Just feel free to come by the office anytime, and I'd love to chat with you and love to get to know you, and you could help me get to know Belvedere even better. As I said, I've only been here for 2 short years, and I'm still learning, and it's been an enjoyable time so far. So I thank you for this opportunity, and I would invite you to join me in a word of prayer. Gracious and holy God, we give you thanks for this day. We are especially grateful that as we are moving through the Easter season, in which we are rejoicing for the new life that you have given to us through Jesus Christ, a new life knowing that our sins are forgiven and we have been extended eternal life, grace poured out to us from the cross. We pray that we would go out this day not only receiving this grace, but we would let it forever change us as we are filled with your Holy Spirit and go out into the community in which we are a part of and care for others. That wherever there's a need, you may use us to fill that need. That we would care for your creation as you have called us to care for it. So this night as we gather together in this time and this place, I pray that you would anoint all the council members and all the people who are here this night, anoint them with your Holy Spirit, so that the things that they discuss and the things that they talk about and the decisions that they make would be done out of love for our fellow human being, and that it would be a way to better this community so that we would all be able to come together and rejoice in your creation. Bless us in our time and grant us the wisdom that you have promised us. Fill us with your Holy Spirit. We ask all of this in your Son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Pastor Monty Fox, thank you very much. Next, I would have roll call, please.
Carl Johnson.
Here.
Sherry Branson.
Here.
Jeff Carlisle.
Here.
Denny Ellingson.
Here.
Sherry Gieske. Carl Larson.
Here.
Ray Larson.
Here.
Jessica Mueller.
Here.
Marshall Newhouse.
Here.
Bernard O'Malley.
Here.
Brad Stark.
Here.
Kathy Ward.
Here.
I would ask for a motion to approve the agenda with one change, at least one change I know of. I'd like to move public comment ahead of appointments and recognitions, so say at maybe 4.2, put public comment there.
Move to approve as amended.
Motion by Ms. Ward, seconded by Mr. Carlisle. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, I would ask approval for the minutes from March 15th.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Carlisle, seconded by Ms. Branson. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. First item up, public comment. Before we get to public comment, just want to make sure I have only two up here, Mr. Ryan and Mr. Bryan. If there's any others, please come up, grab a sheet, fill it out, and send it up this way. One on top here I have is Brent Bryan. Please come on up and grab the microphone from Ms. Milner. And for the record, please state your name and address.
My name is Brent Bryan, residence at 9645 Woodstock Road in Garden Prairie, Illinois.
Thank you.
My name is Brent Bryan. I'm treasurer, Boone County Fire District 2 Firefighters Association. Our association is comprised of 45 men and women who selflessly put themselves before others to protect the county in times of tragedy, fire, car accidents, pretty much you name it. They call it for us, from the cat in the tree to the poor soul in the car accident. Normally, we're out on the street answering fire calls, and at the fair selling donuts. I'm sure everybody has enjoyed plenty of those. We come here, a very important reason. If I can have all the gentlemen in the corner, please come up to the light. That'd be very much appreciated. So we normally have a job to do, protect the residents of the district. We're 100% volunteer. What we get paid pretty much goes into our fuel tank to answer fire calls. As of late, we had a very big disturbance at our fire department. Our chief, Brad Bartell, was released. They say resigned, but this gentleman served 26 years in our fire department selflessly, missed many times with his family, and he's going to be greatly missed, and we just cannot steadily stand by and let this go unnoticed. We definitely know he did not resign on his own. There was some push from 3 members that sit at the front of our department, also known as the trustees. Trustees are appointed by the county board. We have a very important appointment going on tonight. Unfortunately, over the past several years, there's been several trustees that have been on the department for way too long. As people know, with way too long comes complacency. Complacency becomes procedures that are not followed, and ultimately, political prowess becomes way put forward of the safety of every single person in our district. Whether it's fire district, whether it's the families traveling on I-90, taking their kids on vacation up to Wisconsin. As I said, we cannot stand by and let this go. We need new blood on our board. We have 3 trustees. We need change. We're not up here. We don't come up here very often. I'm sure several of you have never even seen our faces before. Maybe if you've had to run into us at a fire scene, we are asking for change. We've relied on the county board since the department was enacted. Unfortunately, times are changing. The people that are running our department are not. We are going to be taking to the taxpayers of Boone County District 2 to referendum to make our trustees' positions elected rather than appointed. This is going to be a big change, but the big change is going to help each and every one of the taxpayers and residents in Boone County, especially myself. I live in District 2 now. I can't stand by. I got a 3-year-old kid watching the fire department the way it's going. If my son's choking, if anything's going on, I need to have that confidence that we're going to be responding in a timely manner and with full faith that you guys can count on us to take care of what you need to take care of. I also want to say, I know I got 3 minutes, but I just want to make this very, very solid. I'd like every one of your guys' names up here, starting with Matt Evie, Cody Powell, Bruce Bradley, Josh Gomer, Seth Bixler, Brian Blatt, Corey Goldman. And as I said, I'm Brent Bryan. With the recent push out of our chief, I hate to say it, but I wouldn't be surprised if you see one of these guys get let go for no apparent reason in the near future because of us staying up here doing this. It's not something we like to do. It's not something I've been looking forward to. I don't get paid to do this, but I know in my heart, I know in every one of these guys' heart, we give selflessly. We need the public to support us so we can support you. So please, County Board, I recognize you guys are making the appointment tonight. I wish that you would think very, very hard and follow up on the emails that were sent today. The state's attorney, Carl, and other members of the board. Please look into that. We're not here to create ruckus. We want resolve. And that's all we really have to say today.
All right, thank you very much. Next up, Jack Ryan. Again, please state your name and address for the record, please.
Jack Ryan, 1521 Pearl Street Road in Belvedere. Actually, Brent, you did a great job. I apologize ahead of time. I'm a terrible public speaker. You'd think I'd be used to people staring at me, but I'm not. So I've got a few notes on my hand here. I'm actually the newest trustee. I just completed my first 3-year term. I think, honestly, a lot of the issues that have come up in the department have been because some of the change or following procedures needed to be done. And I think some of the folks on the department didn't want to do that. I totally respect what you guys do. You do not get paid enough for what you do. I kind of wish I hadn't gotten a call 3 years ago to do this, but we did what we felt was right. And the reasons for that, I'm not prepared to discuss tonight. I don't think that's the proper thing to do. So that's all I got to say. Sure.
Thank you very much. One last call if there's anybody else for public comment. All right. Moving on. Appointments, recognition. Let's do recognition of deputies. First, Sheriff Ernest, you have some recognition to talk to us about.
Good evening, everybody. On a lighter note, we have great news. Please have the 2 deputies come up, Deputy Johnson and Deputy Funk. These 2 fine deputies. Nick has been here for 8 years. Kay has been here for 28 years. One of our senior people. She actually worked 10 years in dispatch, and it just got way too hot in there. So she had to do the easy job and come out on the street. So both these officers are getting the life-saving award tonight. As you remember, they were supposed to be here last month, but couldn't because of other conflicts. So on February 20th, 2017, deputies Nicholas Funk and Kay Johnson were dispatched to an address in the 200 block of Briar Cliff, Poplar Grove, Illinois, reference a possible heroin overdose. Officers arrived and found an unresponsive male, along with evidence of heroin usage. The subject was unconscious and barely breathing. Because of their quick response time, Deputy Funk and Johnson administered 2 doses of Narcan, at which time the subject woke up and began breathing normally. It's an amazing drug. The victim was transported to Swedish American Hospital, where he later made a complete recovery. Deputy Funk and Deputy Johnson, you are hereby commended for your quick action and professionalism during a very stressful event. Your actions saved a man's life and brought credit upon yourself and the entire department. On this date, you are awarded the Life Saving Service Award. It should be noted, too, that this is actually our 3rd save since we started carrying Narcan in the last year. So nice job by our guys. And a lot of that was because of the response time. If they don't get there soon enough, then Narcan really isn't going to do any good. So fortunately, these deputies responded quickly and was able to give that Narcan to that victim. Secondly, we have 4 of our telecommunicators. 3 of them are here. One actually had a baby like 2 days ago, so we just couldn't get her to come in. So if I could have the 3 telecommunicators come up. And we have Teresa Nyman. We have, I got to get all this. Hang on a second, let me get all my stuff here. Okay, we have Melissa Resendez and Brittany Clark, and we have Morgan Davenport is the one that couldn't make it tonight. So these fine ladies are in our dispatch center, our 911 center, and do a fabulous job. But we wanted to recognize them. They've actually had a very rough month. I tell you, in the last 2.5 years that I've been here, the last 2 months have probably been the craziest 2 months that we've had since I've been here, with some serious things that have happened to our county. In our 911 center, our telecommunicators, or dispatchers, for crying out loud. I try to be formal, but These girls are really the unsung heroes. They are the ones, I would tell you, when I started 34 years ago back in the jail, I used to have to come out and take the place of a dispatcher because there was only one on. And I was petrified, just petrified that the phone would ring. The pressure that's in there, and back then was so much easier than it is today. With the call volume that these girls get and that what we ask them to do, and the difference being is they can't prepare for anything. When that phone rings, they have to jump in it and be active, where at least when we're responding to a call, we can mentally prepare ourselves for that call that we're going to come on, in 3 to 6 minutes. So these girls just fly by the seat of their pants, and they do an outstanding job. We can't say enough for all of our tele-dispatchers. So today, all 3 of them are receiving Meritorious Service Award. And some of the bad things that happened, this one was pretty serious. On March 10th, 2017, the Boone County Sheriff's Office 911 Center received multiple calls in reference to an apartment fire located at 819 West Jackson Street in Belvedere. There were reports of people jumping from windows and several people trapped inside the 14-unit apartment building. The incident quickly became a major fire event for all first responders in the region. Over 17 local and regional fire departments responded to the scene, along with multiple law enforcement agencies, State Fire Marshal, American Red Cross, and Boone County Coroner's Office. At the conclusion of this incident, 1 person had died and approximately 15 others were transported to the hospitals. As you can just imagine, the chaos that's going on with the literally hundreds of calls that are coming in because everybody wants to call 911, not to mention everything else that goes on a typical Friday night. So we had 4 girls working, 3 girls, actually 1 girl, because she was pregnant, was homesick. She actually responded to the office to assist her partners, which says a lot for her and a lot for the girls working together as a team. You all want to be there for your sisters and brothers in the time of need. So there were 4 911 telecommunicators working this event. Supervisor Teresa Nyman, Melissa Resendez, Brittany Clark, and Morgan Davenport. These 4 individuals worked as a team and orchestrated the organized response of all the first responders. Without question, their actions prevented more lives from being lost. Telecommunicator Nyman, Resendez, and Clark, you are commended for your quick action and professionalism during a very prolonged and stressful event. Your actions brought credit upon yourself and the entire department. Congratulations. Teresa's been one of our supervisors up there. She's actually been up there for 21 years. Melissa's been up there for 8, and our rookie here has been here for 2 years. That's a great job. So we love all these girls. They do a great job. So thank you. Thank you.
Sheriff, say this with me, telecommunicator. Just on behalf of the County Board, Sheriff, I would like to thank you and your department and all the individuals that work on you, your command staff, the deputies, the telecommunicators, for their great dedication and great work in this community. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate it. Next up, appointments and recognitions, or appointments, I'm sorry. We have a bit of a faux pas. I see one of our individuals in the audience I was unable to contact by phone. We have on our appointments 2 positions for the Boone County Historical Museum. I was informed about half an hour before I got here that there are not 2 positions open at this point. There's only 1. A second position will be opened up in June at the expiration of the existing term, and the individual who currently holds that seat has not had an opportunity to apply or anything like that. So, Ms. Sturgis, I apologize for this late notice since you're here. But what I would like to do is pull both names from the Boone County Historical Museum and make a determination to appoint those two positions, the one for the June and the one for the immediate opening right now, next month. I've talked to somebody on that board and told them that because of this new development that we didn't know we had, I was going to just pull them both rather than make some sort of rash decision as to which Cheryl or Mr. Wolf I was going to appoint this evening. That way I can give anybody else an opportunity. If we didn't advertise for two positions, I think we only originally advertised for one, but I want to make sure that we, in what we've talked about before, that we keep it open. Everybody has the opportunity to apply, and then we'll go from there, and hopefully things work out. Again, Ms. Sturgis, I really apologize you came down here for this. Thank you for coming. You're welcome to stay if you'd like. But we wouldn't feel bad if you decided you wanted to go home also, so thank you. With that, we do have three other positions to appoint. Jack Ryan for Fire District 2, a term that expires, it's a 3-year term. The existing term expires May 1st of 2017. Fire Protection District 3, Heath Morrell. I talked to Mr. Morrell a couple of days ago. He apologizes, but he is on his way to Indiana this evening and could not come tonight. He had intentions to be here, but he was at the admin meeting this month, and hopefully anyone who wanted to talk with him had an opportunity then. And Royce Harnish. Mr. Harnish, are you here tonight? I know you're going to try. I don't see him, so. Royce Harnish for Fire Protection District 5. That's also a 3-year term. All Fire Protection District terms are 3-year term. So I would ask for a motion to approve the appointments.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Stark. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Carlisle. Any discussion? Ms. Ward.
Yes, thank you. I was not aware until this morning about 7:30 that there was some serious concerns about what's going on in Fire Protection District Number 2. Tonight I can see, of course, that there's many people who seem to be very concerned about what's going on. And for those of you who don't come on a regular basis, you may not know that our new chairman has changed the way that appointments are being made in a much better way, in my opinion, because he's having them be interviewed and trying to make it as open as possible to everybody in the community. When it comes at this late date, it's a kind of a problem for us, but I want you to know, and I never speak for the whole board, but your coming does not fall on deaf ears. Obviously, there's something that one of us or some of us or all of us need to look into. So I thank you for coming, and I kind of wish I had known about it before 7:30 this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ward. Ms. Branson, you had something?
Yes. I apologize. I checked my emails at 7 o'clock this morning. I haven't looked at them since, so what was sent today I have not seen.
Same here.
Is there any way you can tell us of these appointments, which ones have been on the districts already? Because obviously
Certainly,
there's a
I can
lot
tell you
of
that-
discontent.
Sure. I can tell you that on Fire Protection District Number 5, Mr. Harnish has been there for a while. He was the only person who applied for that position. On Fire Protection District Number 3, Mr. Morrell has, I believe, only been there one term. I think this would be his second term on the district. Please don't quote me on that 100%, but I think that's the case. On Fire Protection District Number 2, Mr. Ryan is just finishing his first term on the fire district, so he is, fairly new to that board. So this would be a second term for him. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion on the appointments, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No, aye, for me.
There's one opposition. Ms. Branson? Motion carries. Next up, 6.2, proclamation on Comcast Cares Days. This was at the admin committee. You should have gotten, I think, an email. Ken, you sent an email to all board members regarding Comcast Cares Days?
It's on the board docs, yes.
Okay. Is there somebody from Comcast here? I thought somebody was going to try to be in attendance. Miss Sage, Joan Sage, Many of you may remember her. She comes from time to time to our board meetings. Unfortunately, she had back surgery recently, so she was unable to come. She was going to try and get somebody to fill her spot, but apparently was unable to get somebody to come. What Comcast Cares Days is, if you haven't read this, it's an opportunity to promote the cleanup of our community, basically. They select an area in our community and provide T-shirts, lunch, and really emphasize to get individuals out to help clean up the community we live in, and showing that Comcast is here supporting our community and doing things to help our community and make it a nice place. So what they are asking in return for helping to sponsor this event is just to declare, make a proclamation that April 22nd is a Comcast Cares Day. So I would ask for a motion to do so.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Newhouse.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Ellingson. Discussion. Mr. Ellingson.
Yeah, I guess I just make mention, since it was in committee I was on, and I actually voted against it at that committee meeting. I think it's fine what's being done, and I'm not so opposed to their plan, and I think it's great, some of the work they do for us. I guess this is one of those things that I think, I look at this and think we could have a lot of people come and ask for our blessing on this type of thing. I personally think it's something, again, that probably the chair could handle. If people come forward, they've got a good program that's been going on, that it could be handled there quite expeditiously, and we can vote on it at a regular board meeting. But I'm not sure with what there really is involved in it that I see spending, possibly an hour and a half of county board time, discussing these types of things. And I'm not saying we discussed it for an hour and a half, but I'm saying 5 or 6 people discussing it for 15 to 20 minutes makes an hour and a half. And that's my thought on it. But I will vote in support of it tonight.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Aye.
Two in opposition. Motion carries. Thank you. First up, Council on Aging. Mr. Ellingson.
It's a short report. We actually met just on Monday night. Last month when I came, we didn't have a report to give because we were meeting it just a couple days later. But actually things are going rather tremendously, I think, for an organization that has trouble with money and counting on the state to bring money forward when it should, and looking for the county board to bring money forward, and worried about their tax referendum failing. They just keep on clicking. They keep figuring out how to do it. They're still counting on the money from the county board that we've promised. But I think they're just hitting really well and doing everything that they can do to make this a better place for seniors to get older.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Mr. Ellingson? Ms. Ward.
Just a statement. Any of you who want to get involved in our biggest fundraiser, we're going to start meeting soon, which is our Jewels to Jeans, which is happening on the first Saturday in November. We're going to be honoring our first responders at this particular event. So any of you that like to get involved, we can use all the help we can get. It's the biggest fundraiser we have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ward. Next up, Growth Dimensions. I saw Ms. Lopez here. It's the second time I've seen you today.
Yes. Keep on showing up in the same circles there.
There you go.
Thank you very much for your time this evening. I just wanted to I have a brief report. Just wanted to share with you some of the projects that we're working on. We have our annual dinner that's scheduled for April 27th, next Thursday, with Rob Gerbitz, who's the president and CEO of the Hendricks Group. He's going to be presenting today. Diane Hendricks also presented with the Rockford and Cherry Valley Rotary, sharing her story and how she came to develop the ABC Group as well as Hendricks Group. And he's going to be sharing how we can revitalize a community. So we hope that everyone can attend. We also want to share with you, we've been working with the Belvedere Chamber on Wired Wednesdays. This is an initiative where small businesses in the community can come together and receive some type of presentation based on what their shared issues are, and then they can have an opportunity to network with one another. We're going to have our next session on May 24th at Tropical Oasis, and we're also going to be holding these on a quarterly basis, and we're going to have them throughout the county. So we're going to have them hosted at different locations. We also are co-sponsoring an event with the FCA and a symposium for Chrysler suppliers as well as, Tier 1 suppliers, current and potential. This is also with the Rockford Area Economic Development Corporation and Congressman Kinzinger's office. So that's going to be held on May 12th, 2017. And as far as business development, we've been very fortunate. We are in a prime location, being very close to the O'Hare and an international airport. And we are working with not only a Swedish company interested in establishing a location in the United States. We have a meeting with them next month. But we are also looking, are being considered for a biotechnology company that is looking for places in the United States. We were one of 8 locations, or one of 8 states, I'm sorry, in the area, and they've asked us for additional information, which we've provided. So we're hoping that they will be making a decision, at least to consider us. They're looking at bringing it down to 2 to 3 locations by next week, so probably by the end of next week. We also have 2 additional projects that are being considered by other companies. We're taking inventory currently and showcasing what our assets are in our community. We want to let everyone know how wonderful it is to reside and work and play here in Boone County. But we're also working on updating our systems as well as far as sites available. We shared some information regarding enterprise zones last month. We have a one-page fact sheet that's a little bit easier to understand. We also have a link on our website that you can plug in the address and automatically zooms into the location to see whether or not it's in or out of an enterprise zone. And thanks to the county's GIS system, we were able to incorporate that into our website. Projects to date, we have 37 so far this year. That's 36% of industrial projects in comparison to last year, and 24% in comparison for the commercial projects in comparison to last year. Kind of give you an idea. So we're really progressing. In workforce development, and I think you've already received a letter in which you'll probably talk about it from the Workforce Connection Workforce Board. There's a consortium of partners that have been selected, led by Rock Valley College, to include Google Industries and the Illinois Department of Employment Security to be the one-stop operator to deliver services, workforce services, in Boone, Winnebago, and Stevenson counties. So we'll be working very closely with them and what those services look like to our community, both business services as well as job seeker services. They will begin that role on July 1st of this year. We are also working with them on a Talent in the Pipeline initiative in manufacturing. We've been working with manufacturers in the region in order to address what their critical needs are. And we are going to be meeting with educators on Friday, April 28th, in order to share what those common needs are, as well as talk about potential solutions. I think that's about it.
Any questions for Ms. Lopez? Ms. Ward?
Under the enterprise zone, it says here that there's 37 enterprise zone projects this year, 36% increase over last year, et cetera. Does that mean there's that many projects being considered? Does that mean that's...
No, I'm sorry, it's not a 36% increase. It's a 30% industrial projects compared to last year. So last year, we're at 36% of the year total. So being that we're not even at half the year, we should be at probably about 25%, 30% at this time of the year. And we're at 36. So we're doing a little bit better than we were last year at this time. Is that clear?
I'm not sure, but, well, okay.
Any further questions? Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Next up, CASA. Is Charlotte here?
Charlotte is not.
Mr. Carlisle, would you like to enlighten us?
Charlotte's stand-in is here.
I guess you'll do.
What I'd like to do, and what we discussed in our last meetings, is that I'd like to invite any board member, any citizen that would like to know what CASA is all about to join our meetings. They are open to the public. We are looking for more volunteers for the CASA group. We're looking for assistance that may help us in several venues of CASA. One is helping our finances. Another one is helping our administrative staff. Another one is working with child cases if you'd like to go through the training. But we would also like to have people just show up for our meetings because we would like to have different thought processes that instead of the current staff that we have. I've shaken the bush a lot, boss, on this department, and we would like to have a lot of other people in different types of thought processes. We have a great group. They're still there. We are dwindling, though, as a board. We're not getting the participation that we'd like to see as a board with some of the board members there. So we'd like to have people participate if they're interested. CASA is doing extremely well on the amount of people that they've helped. We've just released 4 families back, and we haven't picked up any other new families currently. So the trend is going down on helping at the moment. We expect it usually to pop up during the summer, which really tends to see that more often. But that's all I have. Thank you for letting me speak.
Any questions? Thank you very much. Next up, Board of Health. Ms. Mayo.
Good evening, County Board. Good evening to everybody. I'm Amanda. I work with the Boone County Health Department. And I just want a quick show of hands. Are you guys learning something about the health department with our little monthly program reviews? Is it helping? Do you know a few things that you didn't know before about what we're doing in the community?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, awesome. I try to keep them brief. I hope that I'm not boring anybody, but we do a lot all day long, every day. And our program highlight for this month is our chronic disease screening program. And just some pretty serious statistics here from the CDC. As of 2012, about half of adults had one or more chronic health conditions, and that's extremely expensive both for individuals and families, but also for the taxpayer. 1 in 4 adults had 2 or more chronic health conditions. 2/3 of the American population is overweight, and 1/3 of Americans are considered obese. Those are pretty staggering statistics. So what are we doing about it here locally in Boone County? The health department has 2 programs. We have a program in our clinic where we offer chronic disease screening. So we offer blood draws for folks who are uninsured, underinsured, or they have a health care plan, but if it is a high deductible health care plan, it may not cover all of the testing that their primary care provider would like them to have done. And so they're able to come to our clinic with an order from their doctor, pay a very reasonable price, which covers our cost for performing the test, and the test becomes more affordable for them. This is especially important, again, for our uninsured individuals in our community. Our services are provided both in English and Spanish, and we do serve very high numbers of our Hispanic population at the health department. So that's our in-clinic services. And then just recently, in the last couple months, we've been branching out and doing some community outreach events. We've been working with the Illinois Department of Public Health Love to Love Your Heart initiative, and we are partnering with faith-based organizations here in the county to provide some chronic disease screenings at local congregations. We're also working with Lieutenant Tomas at the Salvation Army, and we've successfully completed 2 screening programs there in the last 2 months. We have a couple of interns from OSF School of Nursing working with us on that program. Again, both those services are provided to our community members in Spanish and English. And those are the programs that I wanted to highlight for tonight. I don't know if there are any questions.
Looks like you're free to go. Thank you, Amanda. Next up, EDNY, which is really RMAP, which is really R1.
Well, they're not officially R1 yet, so one of these meetings you'll see it change.
Exactly. The things going on there, most of it is just still combining WinGIS and RMAP and a couple of other organizations all in one and doing a lot of paperwork and yes votes to allow that to happen is mostly what we did at the last meeting. Justin, anything you can... That was pretty much it. It was, yeah, pretty basic meeting, so nothing too exciting going on there right now. Hopefully in the near future. Next up, Ken, I did not see any fund transfers. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So we have some general consent items. There were multiple road projects. There were some raffle permits for Capron Elementary, the City of Belvedere, Big Thunder Grange, Marine Corps League 83, and RAMP. And there was also, I'd like to highlight just some donors of various amounts. Sally Rapper in memorial of Clifford Staley, Diane and Robert Lay on behalf of Mark and Kathy Gritzmacher, Robert and Christine Bagelman in memorial of Scott Bagelman, Becky Tobin, Samuel Kiefer, and Marjorie Carlson. I'd like to make sure we all know who's donating and giving to our county and our community in any way they can. So thank you to those people. I would accept a motion to approve the general consent items. So moved. Motion by Mr. Newhouse, seconded by Ms. Branson. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up, standing committees. PZB, Mr. Ellingson.
Thank you. Before you, we have a 9.1, a motion to approve case 5-2017, Rio. The applicant is seeking plat approval for combining lots 20 and 21 of Candlewick Lake Unit 1 into Lot H, Candlewick Lake Unit 1, and to vacate the utility drainage easement between the two lots. Staff approved it, PCB and County Board has it.
Second. Motion by Mr. Ellingson, seconded by Mr. Newhouse. Discussion at all, staff? No? Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. 9.2 is a motion to approve ordinance 17-09, case 7-2017, William Charles Real Estate Investment LLC. The applicant, William Charles Real Estate Investment LLC of 1401 North 2nd Street, Rockford, Illinois, is requesting a text amendment pursuant to section 2.10.1. The applicant proposed revisions are to add commercial semi-trailers and commercial semi-trailer parking to table 3.16.1, table of permitted uses of the Boone County zoning ordinance. The proposed amendment is to allow this use as a special use in the A1 agricultural preservation area. Staff denied it. ZBA voted 4-1 for it. PCB voted 4-1 for it.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Ellingson, seconded by Mr. Stark. Hillary? Would you like to give us a report at all, or?
We did add an additional item as a clarifying condition at our last meeting. So when you pull up the table of permitted uses, there'll be a clarifying condition stating only applicable to properties that have active mining and earth material extraction operations. Other than that?
Questions, comments, discussion? Mr. Ellingson.
You do have the applicant here if you have any questions for him.
Okay. Would the applicant like to make any comments?
No, sir. Thank you.
Any further discussion from the board? Ms. Branson.
It concerns me that this will open the door to allowing this type of business in several areas that's not currently allowed in our code. And if you look at our map where all the red dots are, those are residents' homes. Do we really want commercial parking near residents? It concerns me. I think it's inappropriate.
Mr. Newhouse.
My intent in moving this particular request forward was to find a place, and as you say, the red dots, where mineral extraction was occurring. There is heavy truck traffic there. This would not be adding significantly to the change in the type of traffic, being truck traffic there already. I did not want to open this up to the whole A1 district. I thought that it would be more appropriate on a very small scale, and that would be just to those places that have mineral extraction. So that's why we put the clarifying condition in there.
Ms. Milner.
Also, it's the text amendment adds it as a permitted use by special. It's still, we still have to debate. It's not a permitted use. It's a use allowed by special permit. So we don't. We still have to debate. We can still look at these things on a case-by-case basis. So I don't think that's a concern.
My concern is
Ms.
that...
Branson.
Sorry. I'll try and do better. My concern is that it sets precedents, and someone can come in here and say, you did for one, so you should do for others. And I've seen that happen with our boards in the past, and I just think it's a bad move.
Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
One in opposition. Motion carries. Mr. Ellingson?
9.3 is a motion to approve ordinance 17-10, case 8, 2017, William Charles Real Estate Investment LLC. The applicant, William Charles Real Estate Investment LLC, 1401 North 2nd Street, Rockford, Illinois, is requesting a special use permit pursuant to Section 2.7 of Special Uses and Section 3.16.1, Table of Permitted Uses of the Boone County Zoning Ordinance, to allow for the operation of commercial semi-trailer parking in the A1 Agricultural Preservation District at 56 U.S. Route 20 and 100 U.S. Route 20 in unincorporated Belvedere Township, Boone County, Illinois, on 8.05 acres. It's
Second.
gone through all the committees.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Ellingson, seconded by Mr. Stark. Hillary, anything you'd like to add or any comments you'd like to make? Okay. Would the applicant like to address this at all? I apologize. Our podium seems to be missing this evening, so. Ms. Milner's our podium tonight.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is John Mayville. I do represent the applicant in this situation. And we're requesting a special use that would allow the operation of a truck exchange there kind of a thing. It would allow parking of semi-trailers. We're talking about Gordon Foods here. We're talking about a company that would propose to deliver 15 pre-sorted trailers to the location. I think you all know where this is located. It's across from the driving range and right on the edge of Boone County along Route 20. They deliver 15 pre-sorted trailers to the dispatch yard around 4 o'clock in the morning, and then local drivers would come and they would connect to the trailers that are there, and then they would leave the dispatch yard and they would travel to various locations in northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin and eastern Iowa, where they would deliver food products. They would deliver these food products to restaurants, schools, hospitals, other consumers of bulk food products. They would be leaving around 5 o'clock in the morning, which would be a low traffic time, a relatively low traffic time on Route 20. They would be returning between noon and 3 o'clock in the afternoon, again, a low traffic time on Route 20. So we think that there would be a fairly minimal impact as far as traffic is concerned. It is a much less intensive use than is already allowed and takes place at the site. There would be no sorting or repacking of product at the location. We think that, well, they think that the location is attractive. They're close to I-90 on State Street there, so that makes it a good location for them. The trucks that are used are clean, kept in very clean condition, maintained in very good condition. However, on that subject, there would be no maintenance of the trucks, no servicing of the trucks. Nothing like that would take place at that location. I did want to comment, I guess I had some concern, I have had some concern right from the beginning about the advisory report and the comment there. The advisory report states that this proposed use conflicts with the comprehensive plan. And I would respectfully submit, I don't think it does. First of all, the comprehensive plan calls for planned commercial development at that location, at that specific location. The Planning Commission voted unanimously in favor of this proposal. Boone County Soil and Water Conservation District made an investigation, and they found that their LISA score was extremely low. There will be no impact on prime agricultural land whatsoever. There would be no wetlands impact whatsoever. And in fact, the board, the Boone County Conservation Board, had a favorable recommendation supporting this request. The groundwater, someone expressed some concern about the groundwater at one of the earlier meetings. The groundwater is monitored pursuant to an NPDES permit already, on which there are discharge limitations, monitoring, and reporting requirements that the owner has to comply with. We submitted during the process a site traffic impact analysis that was done in 2011. That report concluded that up to 335 trucks per day would have a minimum impact on Business Route 20 at that location. We believe that this location, and this kind of addresses the concern about setting a precedent. We think that this location is uniquely appropriate for what we're asking here. Its location, there is no close by residences there that would be affected in any way. Across the street is a commercial activity, I guess you would say. It is very close. The proximity to the toll road and to the toll road, I guess, is very good and very helpful for the use that they propose to make of it. As I indicated earlier, the use that we propose is far less intensive than the use that's already allowed and taking place there. The conditions, the proposed conditions, and I just want to address one of those. We're completely content with any of the conditions that are addressed there and added to the proposed ordinance. The only one we're concerned about is number 7. And number 7 requires that we pave the area where the trucks would be parked. And as a matter of fact, following the Planning, Zoning, and Building Committee meeting, we met with the county engineer, with Drew, and we talked about that and talked about whether that was the best solution for this situation. And as a result of that, or coming out of that, I'd like to request that condition, number 7, be removed from the ordinance, and that instead you replace it with a requirement that it be a condition that all of the Gordon Foods trucks carry what is commonly known as spill kits. One reason I'm comfortable asking you to do that is because they already do. All the Gordon Food trucks carry spill kits, and I don't have a more formal name for them than that. What they're designed to do is they're designed to be used in the event of a spill of some substance that you wouldn't want to have spilled, and you wouldn't want to have draining away from the site. I think that Justin would back me up on this. I think that he feels that this would be as satisfactory, if not more satisfactory, than paving an area arbitrarily and requiring that additional expense and so forth. So, with that exception, we are perfectly willing to accept these conditions that have been suggested, and we hope that you'll vote in favor of the special use. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Question for the applicant? Mr. Newhouse?
Whether it is the attorney for the applicant or from any of the other individuals from the county who were at that meeting, can I ask how that conversation went and if it would be permissible or advisable to consider amending that to remove 7? I don't know the content of that conversation.
Mr. Carlisle?
The conversation was basically set up for the applicant to pave an area. It was defined as so much wide, so much width, but it was not the entire 8 acres, if I remember correctly. Now, I'm going to throw something on top of this thing, and everybody kind of agreed at that time with some, I would say, okay type attitude is how everybody left. Mr. Mayville, I agree with not paving. The reason being is watershed. When you have a truck or any type of vehicle that has any type of leakage, be it oil, be it food stuff, or whatever, it sits on pavement solid. The only thing that's going to wash that thing off is water. Now you got to worry about where it's going to be drained. Watershed is a big deal, and it's something that we're looking at with the WPPA. But if this watershed just zips out towards what culvert, now you're going to look for how you want it to move, where you want it to move to. Is it going to go into the drainage ditch? Is that drainage ditch now going to be subject to testing because of problems? Your best remediation is to remove the blacktop, utilize the current substrate there, which is compost of limestone rock and another product I can't remember the top of my head. So it's contained in one area and remediated in that one area instead of taking the entire situation and making it a bigger one through watershed problems.
Mr. Newhouse?
Can I ask if at the end of your meeting, when everyone said, okay, was that including building inspector and highway department head?
Everybody got an affirmative nod on that, and then it kind of came back to where I'm hearing what Mr. Mayville is discussing this tonight.
Drew, Justin, would you care to weigh in since your names have been thrown about here, so to speak, of your departments?
Yes, I have spoke with the applicant on this issue, and my understanding is there's a no idle policy with the trucks. That was my first comment. So based on that, there would be expected no or any type of leak would occur from an acute situation or a spillage, and the reaction at the time was that there would be a method to absorb or collect that substance, and the applicant said that yes, they would comply with that, and that was the conversation that was had.
Drew, anything to add?
I think Mr. Carlisle and Mr. Newhouse are referring to two different conversations. Mr. Carlisle, I think you're talking about PZB. Mr. Newhouse, you're talking about the meeting that Justin, myself, had with the applicant and the applicant's attorney. Does that make sense? Okay.
Okay. Any further discussion, questions, comments?
No.
Mr. Ellingson?
Yes. The kit that's in reference here, that's a kit for the tractor or for the trailer or for the refrigerant system on the trailer, or what's that really going to do?
I'm going to let somebody that knows more about that than I do, Mr. Ellingson, if you don't mind. And I don't know who wants to volunteer over there to do it.
introduce yourself, please. Mark Rossich. I'm the transportation manager here locally for Gordon Food Service. The spill kits that we carry in every one of our trucks are designed to catch anything. So if there's a fuel leak on one of the fuel tanks, we pull the spill kit out. There's a catch bucket. There's what we call wicking socks that we put around, and we also have pads that are inside there. So whether it be from the tractor or for the trailer, the spill kits that are designed for each one of the tractors will work for either instance.
Okay, but it's a kit that you actually have to be there and see a leak to put it around it, rather than something that might happen while it's been parked.
Right. I'm not sure what would happen while the trucks are parked. Like the gentleman said, that we have a no idle, so all our trucks are turned off while we're there, and they're only hooked up once we're getting hooked, or running once we're getting hooked up, and then get ready to leave the yard.
Okay.
Anything further?
Any further questions?
Board? Mr. Newhouse?
Yeah, I hate to draw this on too long, but when we have towing companies towing vehicles and they're putting them in their impound yards, I believe, and I can stand corrected, Hillary, if you want to throw this back at me, that there is a requirement that we've had in the past that the ground should be paved to help mitigate the spillage. If this is something that's going to be put in place and it is in an A1 district, and if we do move to amend this to not have any pavement, would that cause any discrepancy that would be difficult for us to continue with any of the other requirements that we have for paving surfaces?
Drew, Hillary, either one of you want to tackle that? Off the top of my head, I would think that
Hillary's looking in the
your,
book right now.
your towing companies are typically doing all sorts of vehicles, ones that have been involved in accidents and things like that, and have more of an opportunity or cause to have spillage.
I'll
where-
grant you the tendency to leak is probably a whole lot more than up-to-date vehicles, but just wanted to go through the process here talking about it.
Drew, anything?
Right, what you had said, Mr. Chairman, is correct. We have had special use cases in the past for towing companies, and it was assumed that there would be spillage. Vehicles that had been in accidents, you had oil leaking, radiator fluid, and there was a requirement that there be a paved area where those vehicles would be placed. I don't think that's what we're dealing with here with the special use application.
Okay. Just in case you didn't catch that, Marshall, I think he said attaboy to me. I'm just Denny?
Drew, I just want to follow that a step further then. So you're saying that we don't actually have an ordinance that requires it. That was just part of a special use permit in those cases that said that it needed to be paved.
That's correct.
Okay. Because I was just worried that we were maybe conflicting with another ordinance if we went this route right now, but okay.
Anything further? Ms. Branson?
I am still concerned about noise. I know I brought this up at the previous meetings, but I know that there are residents in the area, and even though they start with Gordon Foods, when their lease is up, or if they have a problem, the company goes out of business, they can lease to another company. And we have no control over whether or not we have noise control unless we put something in writing in their conditions for no backup alarms. And I think it should be added, and I move that we do so, that no trucks with backup alarms should be allowed there, and the property should also be landscaped to contain the noise.
It's a motion by Ms. Branson. Is there a second? Motion on the floor. Is there a second? One more time. Is there a second? Motion dies. No seconds. So we have a request from the applicant to alter condition number 7. Is there a motion to do so? Mr. Newhouse.
I would move to amend this ordinance number 17-10 to remove condition number 7 requiring paving of this lot.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Newhouse, seconded by Ms. Milner. Mr. Newhouse, did you Want to add in your motion the notion of the spill kits being required in lieu of paving?
Yes, that was my motion, thank you.
I thought I heard you say that under your breath. Ms. Miller, is that what you thought you were seconding?
Yes, absolutely.
I thought that's what I heard. Mr. Newhouse?
The no idle policy, is that something that I missed, Denny, from PZB, or is that something that's their company policy, or what?
Well,
There's nothing listed in our,
it's what?
nothing listed in our conditions
Right,
about
but
that.
it was,
That is a company
the
policy.
applicant just said it's their policy, but again, if something changed, a different company comes in with trucks or something, it might be better to have that as a condition, that there would be a no idle policy on the vehicles that sit there. So I just thought maybe that should be added to that amendment as well. If they want to pick it up, or if we want to do an amendment, I don't care.
Let's vote on the no.
Well, you can if I don't amend it, if nobody else picks up.
Now let me ask the applicant, does the applicant have an issue if that is added into the conditions, a no idle policy? Just to get their take?
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Newhouse?
While they're discussing back there, I would suggest that the question of paving is a different question than a question of idling, and that this amendment could go through, and then if there's a second amendment to add a condition dealing with idling after whatever discussion occurs would be appropriate.
I think that's a correct observation. Thank you, Mr. Newhouse. So while they're discussing, is there any further discussions on the amendment to condition number 7?
Read that again, would you please?
The amendment would state that that paving is no longer required, however, that spill kits must be located on all trucks that are left at the area.
All semi-cab trailer parked on the property under the special use shall carry spill kits.
There you go. That's what I could have sworn that's what I said.
Are we okay with that?
Absolutely. Yep.
Are you guys okay with that? I'm sorry. No, it's okay. Just going over the wording of what the new number 7 would be. All semi-cab trailers parked on the property under the special use shall carry spill kits in the event of fluid spills.
That's fine. Okay. So that's the motion that's the amendment we're voting on currently. Ms. Miller, did you have a question?
No, sir.
Okay.
Hey, just a question quick for the manager from Gordon Food Service. Are the kits on the trailers or are they on the tractors?
Okay.
So yeah, I think you have it on the trailer on there.
So I should say semi-cab tractor?
I would say tractor, yes.
Okay.
Unless you also want them, I don't know if they'd be willing to put one on a trailer too, I don't know.
Seems kind of redundant to me. Mr. Newhouse?
I would think having it on the tractor would mean that it would stay with the driver.
Yes.
And
Who's
the
going
driver's going to be the one that's going to need it.
Yep. Mr. Ellingson?
I don't disagree with you, but with what I've heard, there are going to be trailers parked there without tractors there. So if anybody wants to just rethink that part, that, I mean, you aren't going to have kits there at all times that way. I guess maybe, in my mind, there ought to be one on the property as well. You got refrigeration units, I take it, on these trailers. If they were to have a breakdown, and maybe someone from the facility is there, but the tractors are not, I don't think you really have a way to handle that without a few phone calls and some time lost.
Mr. Carlisle?
Yeah, Danny, I respectfully understand what you're saying. If I remember correctly, there would be a possible tractor that would be stationed there at a period of time, regardless if these tractors are staying or leaving or coming in, parking trailers at 0400 in the morning and departing at 0500. The only thing left you got there is trailers. And I'm not sure if we talked about these trailers being reefers or not. I imagine they are. And your expectation on reefers utilization is usually during the summer and warm months. and activity there. So if there is indeed a tractor that usually is stationed there, that tractor would have that kit available. Question to you, Mr. Mayville, and your client is that I believe we talked about there was going to be a tractor there most of the time when these transfers and all this activity was going to happen. So would you consider that a safety factor for what Mr. Ellingson is discussing?
Just to make sure I understand the question, there will be tractors parked there between the time that the loads, that they come back with the empty trailers, and then the next morning when they take them back out again. So there would be tractors there during that period of time, and they would each have one of these kits in them.
Okay, what I was saying though is if you will have tractors leaving at times without trailers. So if there will not be? Okay,
No.
so they will stay hooked together then while they're there. Okay, that's not what I'd understood before. But
We good? We good? All right. So, motion on the amendment to condition number 7. Is anybody unfamiliar with what it is? All right. All in favor of the amendment to number 7, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. What was our other one we discussed?
Adding additional language, possibly about trucks idling? Is that
Idle, yes, right, an idle. Mr. Maybell, did you have an opportunity to discuss? Okay. No objection?
Okay. Proposed condition, at no time shall trucks idle at the parking area under the special use, or on the property of the special, under the special use.
Mr. Maybell, would you like to amend that language a little bit? Or adjust it, I should say?
Specifically make it only applicable to this.
Well, obviously, when they're stopped,
Mhm.
they'll be idling during that period of time. So I don't mind some suggestion that they won't be left idling for extended periods of time, but obviously they'll be idling at times.
That's what I was trying to make sure that it's not impeding with any of that.
So yeah, it would just be this special use that applies to it, right?
Yes.
That's my only concern is that if you say no idling, that becomes almost impossible.
Mhm. I guess maybe perhaps this gentleman is familiar with the trucks and how they hook up and not, and everything. Maybe you could give us some direction as to how long they might idle or what might be a...
Well, we have a no idle policy for all the drivers and their tractors. All the drivers are incented at bonus, so if they let their trucks idle, they lose bonus, and then they get written out. So the drivers come in, start their tractors, they drive around the yard, look for the correct trailer that they're taking the load out for the day. They back up, hook up, turn the truck off. They do their proper pre-trip, they do their paperwork, they start the truck, they leave the yard. So there is a little bit of idle, but it's not a leave the truck run, come back up to the office, joke around with your buddy next door. It's get your work done.
Okay, so
truck's turned
so
off.
perhaps appropriate language might be no idling other than needed to secure loads for delivery. Bernie?
I hate to be redundant, but you know, in the middle of winter, you're gonna have to idle to keep those things warm. I mean, you start doing this, you're gonna, you know, I think you're getting lost in the trail here. You need some breadcrumbs from the truck, I think.
I think what you're looking for is no idle for us to park the equipment, leave the trucks run for half hour, 45 minutes, 3 hours, 4 hours. We're not looking to do that.
Mr. Ellingson?
yeah, I'm just wondering if we could think that there should be a policy that would apply to this, that would be just as other things come forward to the department that Drew might look at that have to be in place to, you know, get their permit to actually operate. There also would be a no idle policy provided by the company that we can go by in that type of thing, you know, and that either is approved or it isn't.
Madam State's Attorney, any suggestions? Not to put you on the spot, but you're on the spot.
I'm not sure if that would.
not sure if Mr. Ellingson's suggestion, I don't know if Drew would have, I would think that would have to be in the special use
Right.
for you to enforce that, because you don't have other codes related to this particular activity, correct?
Right, if it's not a condition in this special use permit, I wouldn't have any authority to enforce it.
Right. So I think it has to be a condition of the special use, and maybe make it something of minimal idling or something of that nature.
Mr. Newhouse.
Just for conversation's sake, the gentleman there who seems to know tractors more than the rest of us, is the company's no idle policy strictly the company's, or is that an industry standard so that we might be able to attach the no idle policy for something that we really don't know how to put language to at the moment?
Well, it's company standard for us, and it's moving across the industry because of fuel prices and the amount of money that's being lost by idling trucks.
Exactly.
So I could see, you know, it is moving across industry. I can't see how everybody's not.
Could I ask you to define to your best ability the no idle policy?
For us, the no idle policy is leaving a truck run for more than 5 to 10 minutes at a time. And that, I guess that includes getting into it, starting it, letting it warm up, backing it up, finding your trailer, making your connection, and then turning the truck back off in order to do your pre-trip paperwork, starting back up.
Mr. Newhouse.
Even when semis are at my farm loading grain, these guys hop out of their truck, shut their tractor off first, then hop out of their truck, and then start unloading grain. They don't want to be blowing the fuel. It's not just this company, and my fear is that everyone's going to say, well, if this company decides to jump ship, the next company comes in, they're not going to have the same mentality. Just the cost of doing business, these guys are not wanting to blow fuel. So I'm not terribly anxious to spend a whole lot of time on this. I don't think we're getting anywhere.
I would agree. Mr. Ellingson?
Well, I disagree with you because, you know, we just decided that they didn't have to pave, which we've always said was something that had to be done in other cases. And now, you know, you've got someone that's standing before you and said that they have a policy. And to me, if they brought a policy forward that would apply to any vehicles that are being used in this operation, we would at least have something to go by, and Drew can say that's enough to protect the soil and the groundwater, or it's not. If not, you know, I think we're just backing up by saying, okay, we don't need blacktop, we don't really need anything. You know, we just trust that whatever is said is there. We were told 20 minutes ago, before I ever brought it up, that the company was fine with a no idle policy. And those weren't my words. That was their words, that no idle policy was already used by this company. And so I'm just trying to say, okay, if it is, then why don't we put that into the special use provision, that there will be a special use condition that will be the no idle policy.
Well, my concern with that is we need to define what you mean by a no idle policy, and that's what I'm trying to accomplish and what I was suggesting here. Now, Mr. Jugilski calls to my attention the fact that there's apparently a statute in the state of Illinois under the vehicle code that in some counties, not this one, that there is a no idle policy. And it says that that a person who operates a motor vehicle operating on diesel fuel in an affected area may not cause or allow the motor vehicle, when it is not in motion, to idle for more than a total of 10 minutes within any 60-minute period, except under the following circumstances. And I talked to the representative from Gordon Foods, and if that's your definition of no idle policy, then I think that's acceptable, and that's a reasonable definition. They expect that they would not be idling a vehicle for more than 10 minutes within any 60-minute period.
I think that covers it. I was saying that even if Gordon Food had a policy, if that came to Drew and he says this will cover the same conditions that we're talking about and concerned about, that's just part of the special use permit. But, you know, I'm just saying that let's back up the words a no idle policy with something, and either one of those covers it. And this even says now if there's a state statute that applies, you can go back and check that out, Drew, and see that that fits.
No.
Just,
Huh? Well, yeah, it doesn't, you're right. Some counties, it's not our county on that.
that's correct.
You're right.
Mr. Carlisle?
Yeah, Mr. Mayville, what is that statute code? What is that code?
It appears to be 625 ILCS 5/11-1429, 1429. It's titled excessive idling.
What I'd like to do is make a motion that we approve that policy for this particular situation and into this text amendment.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Carlisle, seconded by Mr. O'Malley. Any discussion? Mr.
I
Ellingson?
just want to ask, now that would go down as like condition number 9? Okay. Well, you've already got an 8.
So we took out 7.
No, you replaced that.
No, we
changed
replaced
7.
7 with your
We
wording.
changed 7, yeah.
Okay.
We still have a 7. And probably it should actually become number 8, and number 8 that's up there should become number 9. That's one that covers all the other things.
Okay. Not to put you on the spot, Madam State's Attorney, I know you've had this statute for at least 35 seconds. I'm sure you're well-versed in it. Opinions?
I think that if it's a state statute that defines it, I think that is a good solution to this problem, and that's a appropriate condition to add.
Any further discussion? All in favor with adding condition number 8 to be reflective of State Code 625 ILCS 5/11-1429, I think that was it. All in favor?
And renumbering number 9.
And renumbering number 8 to number 9, and
Yes.
this is the new number 8. Yes. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Any more amendments? Anything else we want to discuss? Ms. Ward?
Just one quick thing, because we've talked about this for hours and hours, I know already. But the staff had denied this. Now there's been many changes, many amendments. Is the staff now ready to say, okay, I think we should all live with this, or you still want to deny it?
So after we've added additional, for the text amendment, we've added additional clarifications. I feel that it is better. I just have concerns that the overall vision of what we've adopted is just not entirely cohesive. Yes, this is a very specific property that is not like the rest and has done this, for some time. I think that we've made substantial additions and changes to make it a better application, and are approving something that has more control or oversight. My concerns are that, A1 property is for A1 purposes. This isn't an A1 purpose. And this area we talk about coming into our corridor as we want it to look a certain way in all of our adopted ordinances. So it doesn't match entirely, but it is better than when originally stated. I think we've done a lot.
I was looking for a yes or no, but you never get that, do you? Ever.
No.
Thank you.
I think you effectively beat around the bush there a little bit.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ellen. All right, anything further? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
One opposed, motion carries. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Sorry it took us a little longer.
Thank you.
Mr. Ellingson, I see you still have one more item, I believe?
Yes, sir, we do. We have a 9.4, which is a motion to propose a text amendment to the Boone County Code regarding animal breeding and boarding regulations.
Motion by Mr. Ellingson, second?
Second.
By Mr. Newhouse. Discussion? Mr. Ellingson.
I would just point out to you that all this really does is it gives permission for it to go back in the process to go through the Zoning Board of Appeals and get checked out and clarified, and then be brought back for a county board vote.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
One opposed, motion carries.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Ellingson, anything else?
Nope, thank you.
Mr. Newhouse, you are standing in for Ms. Gieske.
I am. We have 2 attachments with claims, so this motion is for both of those attachments. So I'd move to approve the claims with the understanding that Carl Johnson abstains from voting on all claims presented by William Charles and Associates and HD Supply, and Denny Ellingson abstains from voting on all claims presented by Conserve FS.
Motion by Mr. Newhouse. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Carlisle. Discussion? Roll call.
Carl Johnson,
Yes.
Sherry Branson,
Yes.
Jeff Carlisle,
Yes.
Denny Ellingson,
Yes.
Carl Larson,
Yes.
Ray Larson,
Aye.
Jessica Mueller,
Yes.
Marshall Newhouse,
Yes.
Bernard O'Malley,
Yes.
Brad Stark,
Yes.
Kathy Ward.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve Resolution 1721, approving declaration of trust of the Illinois Trust.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Newhouse, seconded by Mr. Carlisle. Is there a discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Newhouse, anything else?
No further motions from Finance, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Carlisle, I see no motions. Anything you'd like to chat with us about?
No, thank you.
All right, super. Mr. Newhouse, or I'm sorry.
Nope.
Sorry, Mr. Stark. I guess I skipped over you.
No problem. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. 11.1, motion to approve intergovernmental agreements with the Illinois Toll Authority regarding Garden Prairie Road, Stone Quarry Road, and Genoa Road bridges.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Stark, seconded by Mr. Ellingson. Discussion? Mr. Terranoni.
Yes, I would respectfully ask that we refer this back to committee. As of today, I had not received the revised agreements. The committee saw the draft agreements, but I do not have the revised agreements. And the toll authority has no issues whatsoever in you postponing this another month. And I also was told that they are in agreement with the negotiated items that Mr. Crone and I have advocated. So it's just that we didn't get the paperwork in time for tonight's meeting. So I would ask that we just refer back to committee.
Thank you, Mr. Terranoni. In that case, could I have a motion to send this back to Roads?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Ward, seconded by Ms. Branson. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Stark, anything else?
That is all we have at Roads, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Mr. Newhouse, you're playing double duty today?
I like it.
Admin.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve Resolution 17-20 for Boone County membership in the Northwest Health Insurance Pool.
Motion by Mr. Newhouse, seconded by Mr. Ellingson. Discussion. Mr. Terranoni or Mr. Newhouse, or?
I'll yield to Ken every time.
Well, we've had multiple meetings on this subject, and we do have a representative of the pool here this evening if there are any questions. But again, there's no magic pixie dust that takes away your health insurance cost center in your budget. It'll continue to be a huge cost, and it will continue to grow. However, this pool offers probably the best opportunity we've seen to avoid the double-digit increases that this county has seen in the last couple of years. So I won't belabor. If there are any questions, I or the representative of the pool would be glad to answer.
Ms. Ward.
Yeah, I have a couple questions. This was talked about at length, of course, and sometimes it wasn't always easy to hear exactly what was being said, but I thought that we were going to see if there was a counter proposal from Williams Manning. Did we ever get one?
We did not, and they had ample time to produce one. So I believe this is still the best proposal that's in front of you.
And if I could just follow on one thing.
Continue.
I heard that it sounded like they said they could save us in 5 years, and I hope I got this number right, because as I said, I couldn't always hear it. $6 million in 5 years, was that the number that they said? If that's the case, we're not broke anymore. We won't be broke anymore. If that's the number.
I wish it were that simple. Thanks, Ms. Ward.
Well, it's going to help, Carl.
Yeah, yes, it certainly is, certainly will help. Any other further discussion? Before we vote, Ken and Admin Committee, I just want to commend you on looking outside the box and trying to find ways to help cut costs and move forward. So great job, everybody that was involved in this. Mr. Newhouse?
You're very generous putting admin in the same sentence as Ken. He was the one that looked outside the box, so I'll defer about 99% of that to Ken.
All right, all in favor say, we probably should roll call, please.
Sherry Branson,
Yes.
Jeff Carlisle,
Yes.
Denny Ellingson,
Yes.
Carl Larson,
Yes.
Ray Larson,
Aye.
Jessica Mueller,
Yes.
Marshall Newhouse,
Yes.
Bernard O'Malley,
Yes.
Brad Stark,
Yes.
Kathy Ward,
Yes.
Carl Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve ordinance 17.07. This is -07. This is an ordinance codifying the current number of liquor licenses at 17.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Newhouse, seconded by Mr. Ellingson. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve Resolution 17-22 declaring a vacancy for the position of County Clerk and Recorder effective June 16th, 2017.
Motion by Mr.
Second.
Ellingson. Is there a second? I'm sorry. Motion by Mr. Newhouse, seconded by Mr. Ellingson. I don't think I want to accept your motion. I know what it means. In case you haven't read any emails or haven't read the papers or anything, our own county clerk, Mary Stewart, has decided that she would like to spend her time doing other things other than being in the office 5 or 6 days a week for multiple hours. Since we have this motion on the floor, I just want to take a moment publicly to thank her for her years of experience, her years of dedication to the community and the county, and to this board. You've been a pleasure to work with, and we're going to miss you immensely. So whoever takes your seat is going to have big shoes to fill. So thank you very, very much for all you do for our community.
Thank you for your kind words.
Thank you.
I've really enjoyed working with all of you, too.
With that being said, motion on the floor. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
No further motions from admin, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Ward, nothing for city county, I see. Anything you'd like to enlighten us on?
No, no motions. We're still working on the landfill, doing better there.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Public safety, Mr. Larson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. From the Public Safety Committee, motion to waive the county bid ordinance approving the purchase of a Schneider electric building control system from Alpha Controls in the amount of $19,528. This was approved 5-0 in committee, and it is not a budgeted item.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Larson, seconded by Ms. Ward. Discussion. Mr. Ellingson.
Thank you. I hate to be petty, but I know I am at times, and this is one that bothers me because I think we're voting on two different things in this. And I think there's a motion to waive the county bid ordinance, or there's a motion to order this product to come from Schneider Electric Building. And in my mind, you know, you shouldn't be voting for two things in one vote in this case. But that's my own thought. I don't know what the state's attorney thinks about it.
Well, seeing as I've had about 5 seconds to think about it, I do see your point about waiving the bidding ordinance. If I could just have one moment. Mr. Ellingson, I think it is okay in this instance because of the particular item that you're trying to purchase, that you're waiving the bidding process based on the particular item that you need to have purchased in this case. And it's not going out for bid because the particular system that is in place in the jail, and that this is the item that needs to be purchased from this, I believe, from this company.
Mr. Newhouse?
Could I ask Ray, is this an integral part or an integral component in a system already in place that's been put in place by this company? And is that the reason why we're going with this company and waiving the bid ordinance? Or what kind of rationale have we got?
Yeah, I don't know if Ken wants to speak more, but yes, it is.
I believe it's the compatibility with the rest of the components that aren't part of this equipment purchase, and that's easily another $150,000 worth of equipment that this has to talk to.
Mr. O'Malley?
This system is going to save money also. It upgrades the controls and cuts the expenses tremendously, because it's going to bring us up like 5 generations from where they started.
Sheriff, did you have anything you wanted to add regarding this? I saw you hiding back there.
No, like Ken said, if we get a new system, it's $125,000.
Hold on a second. I'm getting yelled at by our sweet little county clerk. So you have to come over and use the microphone.
This is part of an existing system. So rather than buy a whole new system for $150,000, this is basically an upgrade to the old system. If we don't upgrade it, the system that we have, they're very concerned that it's going to crash, which is actually going to cost more money. So this is some preventative medicine.
Mr. Carlisle?
Let's clear. Hang in there. Don't leave that microphone. I got to ask you a quick couple of questions. Let's be real clear. Apollo's group is the ones that are getting this Schneider part for us. Is this not the original group that gave us the original part from the original system?
Exactly.
Was this part, if I believe correctly, was of old stature in software?
Yes.
Was this part going to absolutely be taken care of by this Apollo group because they are aware of the software we currently have, and they're aware of the software that we need to update to, and then they're aware of putting all these data points together and making sure that we can actually have a smooth transition with this new part?
Nicely said.
Enough said. Drop the mic.
No.
Mr. Ellingson?
Yeah, thank you. I'm not disagreeing with any of that. I agree completely that we need to do this. That was not my concern. My concern is the fact that we're making it a practice again of taking 2 different items and voting on them at the same time. State's attorney said it's fine. We don't need any more discussion, at that point. I'm in favor of the plan. We've been all through that.
Any further discussion? I have one item. I'll bet Ken can guess what it is. I see it says not budgeted.
Can I guess?
Yeah.
Where are you going to take it from? That's an excellent question. Believe it or not, you have a contingency line item in the general fund, which, to my recollection, has approximately $20,000 budgeted, of which we've spent nothing this year so far. So unfortunately, this will take up that whole line item, but I'm at a loss as to other options. And I spoke to the company today about this, and you really don't want to risk failure of this piece of equipment. It'll cost tremendous to reboot a new piece of equipment, plus the fact that it controls all your HVAC. So you'd be doing a manual control on that whole building, which would cost an inordinate amount of time. So,
thank you, Mr. Ternoni. Mr. Larson.
I want to just give a little more comment to what Mr. Newhouse questioned. Yes, this is replacing a about 20-year-old computer, and that's the real concern. That if this computer stops functioning with the software on it, nothing is going to work in the building anymore there. So,
So we're replacing a Commodore 64 with a new IBM or something. Wonderful. All right. We have the motion on the table. Roll call, please.
Jeff Carlisle?
Yes.
Denny Ellingson?
Yes.
Carl Larson?
Yes.
Excuse me?
Yes.
Ray Larson?
Aye.
Jessica Mueller?
Yes.
Marshall Newhouse?
Yes.
Bernard O'Malley?
Yes.
Brad Stark?
Yes.
Kathy Ward?
Yes.
Carl Johnson?
Yes.
Sherry Branson?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Mr. Larson, anything
No,
else?
nothing further from public safety.
Thank you. Ms. Ward?
Yes, tonight we had a number of people come to talk to us about their concerns about Fire Protection District Number 2, and I believe they said they're planning to take this to a referendum. I'm just wondering, I mean, I don't like a group of people to come to us and not think that we're going to do anything at all. Should this be referred to public safety to at least discuss, or should we just leave it in their hands at this time? Or I just don't. I mean, I talked to several of these people today, and I don't want them to think that we don't care what they think. So, but maybe if they're going to have a referendum, we should leave it in their hands for now, or what's the best way to proceed, Mr. Chairman?
I guess without talking to the state's attorney and fully getting a 100% understanding, I would lean towards the fact that the fire district has its own board. So what that board does with its fire department and its funds is that board's challenge to deal with. We can listen, we can understand, but as far as trying to make an effective change, the only way, as I understand it, that we have of change is through that board, changing that board as it comes along. And part of that is so that, you don't put somebody in this chair that just doesn't like people and just starts throwing people out for whatever reason. You try to have some semblance that those people are there, they were put there for a reason, they've been working fine for this long, and now there's I don't want to make light of it, a bump in the road or an issue that's come up that people aren't happy with. So it's that board's challenge, much like it's our board's challenge, to get through those adversities and find the best outcome possible. If they take it to a referendum, if they vote to have their people elected, if they can do that, that's another thing. I don't even know if they can or they can't. I have no clue. That would be all something that the state's attorney could weigh in at some point. But unless she has a different take, that's how I would understand it.
Right, and this is, not fair to throw it at you right now, but they could do a referendum and have it elected, is that correct, or?
That I don't know.
Okay.
Much like you, I received an email this morning at 7:30, but I mean, I certainly can get you an answer on that if that's something that they can do, if you're interested in
Okay,
what.
that's fine, thank you.
And I do feel for what they're going through. I understand, and I wish there was more we could do to help the scenario outside of counseling them or trying to guide them. It's really their board and their decisions to do. So, all right, special committees, community building, Ms. Ward.
Yes, our community building board meets tomorrow night, but at our last meeting, we took almost the final step of putting a digital sign out in front, which many of our people in the county have asked and wish that we would do so that people know what's going on in the community building. And so tomorrow night, we're going to look at a couple of them from one of our local people, Jay Allen. We really try to keep things in the community. The construction has begun on that $900,000 project for a new catering kitchen and many other improvements in there. And I asked the other night how many people use the facility to walk, because many people come in the building, and because it's flat and safe and dry, there's anywhere from 25 to 100 people who come every day and walk that facility. So it's really good for a lot of different things, certainly.
Thank you. UCCI, Mr. Ternoni.
The educational event is July 24th, 25th, so I've had a number of board members indicate interest in going, and we have made the reservations, so hopefully it'll be a worthwhile event.
Thank you. Community Action Agency, Ms. Ward.
Yes, the committee met a couple weeks ago. They were also helpful in helping the people with the fire victims here in Boone County. They do reach out to our county in a lot of different ways, especially with utilities, et cetera, et cetera. They are working on a $1.2 million budget that they're trying to decide the best way to proceed. And they really think that money will be coming, and of course, it's all taxpayer money, but it's federal money rather than state. So they feel a little bit better about getting federal money.
Thank you very much. 911, Mr. Newhouse.
Oh, I would say the highlight of the meeting is that they were getting done with the training being required for the new Motorola systems, swapping out the 911 displays and getting new updated equipment in, so everything was proceeding.
Wonderful. Any other committees anybody wants to let us know?
I
Mr.
have
O'Malley.
one- I have one from the Veterans Assistance Commission that meets quarterly now. They're very busy. They have a 501c fund now that has 19,000 in it. One girl had a bowling night and she had a dinner at the VFW. She raised $10,000. A young girl named Lisa Cortez. The Men's Auxiliary also raised some money. They've also have a reserve fund now of $115,000 to help support them. January, they were very busy. They had 126 clients. They made 3 community support things where they were at the BOCO and they were at the Keeney Center every month. And they did 50 food baskets with food vouchers also, and that was quite a big undertaking. But they're actually seeing the numbers go up, so they're going to actually back off in their advertising a little bit because they feel people now know where they are. But they also have a new bylaws to put together.
Wonderful. All right. Scheduling of committees. Mr. Larson.
Thank you. The next Public Safety Committee meeting will be on May 8th, 2017 at 6 p.m. in this room.
Mr. Ellingson?
PCB will be in this room on May 3rd at 6 p.m. Hillary, is there a ZBA next week? Okay, so there will be a ZBA next Tuesday, the 25th, in this room at 7 p.m.
Mr. Newhouse?
Admin will be Monday, May 1st, 6 p.m., this room.
And finance, since you're acting finance chair.
Oh, man.
9th, May 9th.
I would say the 9th, 6 p.m., this room.
That would be right.
Thank you, Mr. Newhouse. Ms. Ward?
The City County, 6 p.m. in this room on the 10th of May.
Mr. Carlisle?
Health, Human Services, May 4th, 6 o'clock, this building. Also CASA, 6 o'clock, May 2nd.
Thank you, Mr. Carlisle. Mr. Starr?
Roads and Capital Improvement, May 2nd, 6 o'clock, this room.
Anything else anybody wants to add for other committees? Super. New business or unfinished business. Ken, any unfinished business?
No.
Okay. New business. Oops, I'm sorry. Ms. Ward?
If I've got my calendar right, I believe tomorrow is his birthday. So happy birthday.
Thank you.
Ken.
Thank you.
No spankings allowed in the chambers. So you're safe. New business. Under new business, I do have a couple of things. You should have gotten on your board docs some information from Commonwealth Edison on some construction that they are going to be doing throughout the county. It's just to notify you that that will be coming through. So if and when you get phone calls, and people say, "Hey, what's going on?" you can tell them this is to help improve their electric service in the long run. Second thing, Federal Rep Adam Kinzinger will be holding a meeting at Belvedere City Hall tomorrow evening, kind of a roundtable discussion with leaders in the community. He asked me to extend an invitation to the entire county board that if you are available, it'll be at Belvedere City Hall tomorrow from 4 to 4:45. So feel free to come and listen to what's going on in our nation's capital. That's all I have. Anybody else new business? Ken?
Nope.
Okay. Any informational items? All right, I would ask for a motion for executive session regarding, I guess, potential litigation and collective bargaining.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mr. Carlisle, second by Mr. Stark. Ken, anything?
Just point of order, if we could have in attendance, I believe Assistant State's Attorney Carla Mayville, our building inspector Drew Bliss, our planner, and Justin Miller, my assistant. And those are for the first items in executive session pertaining to potential litigation. So when those items are complete, they can leave if they wish.
Okay. Does anyone have a problem with that?
Madam Circuit Clerk would like to participate in the collective bargaining part of it.
Bring my motion to that.
I could have sworn you put all that in your motion, Mr. Carlins. All right, roll call, please. Just a point of order also, we are expecting to have some motions coming out of executive session.
Denny Ellingson,
Yes.
Carl Larson,
Yes.
Ray Larson,
Aye.
Jessica Mueller,
Yes.
Marshall Newhouse,
Yes.
Bernard O'Malley,
Yes.
Brad Stark,
Yes.
Kathy Ward,
Yes.
Carl Johnson,
Yes.